Whether you're a tour player, a club champion, a low handicapper, or a beginner, you may be struggling with some challenges on the golf course. It's probably safe to say that these challenges could be adding strokes to your game. So let me ask you, if your game starts out strong but goes downhill over the course of a round, or conversely, if you're somebody who blows up in the first 9 holes and then settles in late into a round of golf, if you can't seem to play consistently well, or if you find that your emotions are getting the better of you on a golf course, particularly after a bad drive or a missed putt, if you can't focus on a target, or if you can't focus, period, typically all of these symptoms boil down to just one thing. Now, it doesn't matter if you just won a major championship or are a 40 handicapper, a professional or an amateur. As human beings, we all experience the same things while playing the game of golf. And that's the beautiful thing about golf, is that the beginner and the professional on an emotional level experience the same emotions. Now I'm going to share with you the root cause of these inconsistencies that are the primary ailment of all golfers, regardless of handicap. But first, who am I to make this claim, and why should you believe me? Well, my name is Dr. Gio Valianti, and I'm a sports psychologist who's been studying the sources of golfers' inconsistencies for the better part of the last 15 years. And my research has amounted to some pretty remarkable results. Over the past 15 years, my golfers have won over 50 professional events. Golf Magazine has named me top 40 under the age of 40 to influence the game of golf. The Golf Channel has called me Sports Psychologist of the Year. Golf Digest named me one of the top 2 sports psychologists in the world. And most recently on CBS, they called me the most famous man on the PGA Tour that you've probably never heard of. And I'm okay with that distinction, because I'm one of the guys who's working behind the scenes to try to make the best in the world even better. But what's exciting is my research applies to amateurs as well. Listen, I don't only work with professional golfers, I work with golfers that run the gamut. And when you start applying the right methods and techniques and information to the game of golf, the bottom line is you get results. So if you're listening to this message, I'm assuming you know something about the game of golf. So you know that for years, to improve golfing performance, the whole golfing world has primarily focused on 2 things: either the golf swing or your equipment. Now think about it. When you're not playing well, the first thing that you probably say to yourself is, oh, my golf swing is breaking down. Or you call your golf professional to get a golf lesson because everyone on TV is telling you that golf equates to golf swing, that a good golf swing equates to better golf. And if it's not your golf swing, then they tell you got to buy this driver or that putter or those irons. They boil down what in psychology is called an attribution. They attribute your poor golfing performance to your equipment. Drivers, irons, putters, all sorts of things. Now, I agree that the golf swing is important. I'm friends with golf instructors on the PGA Tour, and I work closely with them. And I also agree that equipment matters, right? Club fitting is an important feature to becoming a good golfer. But I want you to understand that golfers don't call me because they want to. I'm typically the last phone call a golfer makes. And the question I ask is, how have I been able to take golfers who call me generally when they're in a slump and generate over 50 professional wins? It's not by giving them golf lessons, and it's not by changing their equipment. The world I live in is the world of mental efficiency. And by simply tweaking how golfers think about the game and how they fuel their brain, I've been able to help them generate over 50 professional wins. And their performances at amateur and collegiate levels are equally as dramatic. Now, it bears repeating, while I believe that your golf swing and your equipment are really important, I'm also going to go on record as saying that these are generally not the cause of inconsistent and poor performance in golfers. The fact is, if you're athletic enough to throw a ball with coordination, if you're athletic enough to hit a couple of good shots, generally speaking, you should be able to play pretty good golf. If you're hitting it good on the driving range, my guess is your golf swing is in fine shape. Now, over the past 15 years of helping my players win over 50 professional events, I've learned that no matter how much time you spend on technique and how much money you spend on equipment, if you don't address the core cause of poor performance, then you're going to be a hamster on a wheel, and you're going to keep spinning your wheels, and instead of improving your performance, you're either going to go sideways or get worse. Now, I've seen golfers spend countless hours on the range and go backwards. And I'm going to guess that if you're listening to this presentation, it may have happened to you. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Do you have a golf app on your phone or a few old scorecards laying around? Because what I want you to do is to look at the patterns of your performance. Do you find that as the course of the round unfolded, you were losing distance? Did a slice or a pull appear out of nowhere? Did you start mishitting the ball by the middle of a round? Was your chipping lagging, or were you losing speed control on your putts? So what I want you to do is identify the moment within a round of golf when things started falling apart and going sideways. And I want you to recall, how did your body feel? How did your brain feel? What did it feel like as you were walking to the golf ball? Did you feel that your hands and arms were getting stiff and you were losing your feeling? Was your lower back tightening up? Was your posture changing? Was the speed with which you were walking changing? In other words, did you start walking faster down the fairway? Or did you hover over the ball longer than you usually do? Well, if these things were happening to you during a round of golf, these are symptoms of the core cause of golfers' inconsistent performance, which is fatigue. Now, I know that you've heard of fatigue before, and you're probably thinking that there's nothing groundbreaking about what I'm saying. But I want you to understand that by identifying the sources of golfers' mental fatigue and then fixing it, I've been able to take a lot of golfers who are in slumps and transform their games. You can go on the internet, look up my name, Dr. Gio Valianti, and look at the befores and afters of golfers that I've worked with. So you should probably listen to what I'm about to tell you. When your game starts to go south, the chances are that you're experiencing not only physical fatigue, but also mental fatigue. By the 13th or 14th hole on the first day, whether you're a tour pro or a beginner, between warming up on the range, practice swings, and actually hitting the ball, you'd swung a club probably 200 times. In fact, if you're an amateur player, you may have swung a club as much as double that, because amateur players tend to swing more than professionals. Now, why is this? As an amateur, when you show up to the golf course, because you don't get to play as much, you're probably trying to cram more practice swings in than does a PGA Tour player. So listen to this. The Center for Health and Sports Science at the Rose Medical Center in Denver, Colorado, conducted a study. It was the first of its kind, and the goal was to measure how much energy is expended during a round of golf. The most surprising finding was how much energy it took just to swing a golf club. For example, if you're an average-built individual, even if you ride in a golf cart, you're still burning close to 900 calories during a round of golf. 900 calories. Now let me put that into perspective for you. To burn that in a gym, you would need to jog on a treadmill at 5 miles an hour for about 90 minutes straight, or lift weights for almost 4 hours. That's the type of fatigue that happens during a round of golf. So if you're losing your mental focus, think of all the energy that you're expending while playing, and then understand the relationship between physical fatigue and mental fatigue. Now, I'm not sharing this fact to encourage post-round binging with beer and hot dogs. I share it because it pounds home the fact that we often forget that golf is an athletic activity. And trying to play golf at a high level requires that we fuel our brains and bodies the way that elite athletes do. So do me a favor, open that golf app again or grab those old scorecards. Think back to that poor drive you hit, or the 3-putt, or the flubbed chip. What was your reaction after the bad shot? In other words, once you start to feel this fatigue factor that all golfers feel, do you notice a change in your reactions? Were you congratulating yourself on that improvement opportunity, or did you berate yourself for the stupidity? Did you approach your ball and pick a precise target on your next shot and decisively select a club, or did you shuffle over to the ball, mumbling to yourself, still thinking about the last shot and not fully commit? How about once you made it up to the green? Did you confidently line up your putt with clarity, or did you gaze sightlessly in the general vicinity of the hole? and just carelessly slap it toward the hole. Chances are that by the time this physical and mental fatigue sets in, you're feeling pretty numb. These are the symptoms of fatigue, and the mental fatigue is actually more debilitating and more costly to your shots than physical fatigue. In fact, mental fatigue typically starts to whittle away at your performance long before physical fatigue sets in. Why is fatigue so damaging to performance? Well, let me tell you. Physical fatigue is obvious. It causes you to lose rotation and swing flow. It causes your golf swing to shorten. It causes your arms to tense, which causes them to shorten so you top the ball. Your drives lose distance and your feel for your short game disappears. And while I understand a great deal about physical fatigue, mental fatigue is my real specialty. Mental fatigue is even worse than physical fatigue. It's insidious. Mental fatigue inhibits your ability to be in the moment and be present during a golf shot. It inhibits your ability to emotionally recover from a bad shot. It inhibits your ability to focus on the golf course, to react properly, and generally play the game with the type of confidence required to play fearless golf. So listen to me closely, and I mean this for every player from the professional to the amateur. If you want to start saving shots on the golf course, you have to start playing mentally efficient golf. Golf is a mental game. So how do you play fearless golf? How do you play with great mental alacrity and efficiency? Well, you can get in better shape, but I doubt that that's at the top of your priority list. Now, I know for most golfers, the game is supposed to be about relaxation and enjoyment. Getting away from the office or out of the house and hanging with your buddies. Enjoying a beautiful golf course, or doing what you love to do during your free time. But I guarantee conditioning your muscles will help your endurance during a round of golf. In fact, I recommend all my players focus on their physical well-being. There's no doubt about it that there's a relationship between physical and mental well-being. But the other reality is most golfers who come to me are already in good physical shape. That's really not typically the cause of their poor performance. The majority of my clients are PGA Tour players or high-level professionals that are already great athletes, and they still battle this emotional and mental fatigue. So why do we get so emotionally tired on a golf course? Well, it's simple. We aren't fueling our brains properly. Now think about it. What do you typically eat or drink before a round of golf? What do you typically eat or drink during a round of golf? And I'm guessing if you and I sat down and did a nutritional analysis, which is one of the first things that I do with golfers, the result would be that you eat lots of carbs, lots of sugars, and more than likely a fair amount of fat. What we don't see is heart-healthy protein out of most golfers. But Dr. Gio, you say, I had a protein bar or a protein shake. Did you? You got one handy? Take a look at the nutritional content. What's the sugar content? I'll wager it's close to 30 grams. Fat? I bet there's as much as 10 grams of fat, 4 of which is probably saturated fat. And calories? I bet there's over 300 calories in that protein bar or protein shake. In fact, I wouldn't even call that a protein bar. I'd call that a candy bar. In fact, a Snickers bar would be the healthier choice over many of the quote-unquote protein bars and shakes that are being passed off as golf supplements. Or you might assure me you had a good breakfast and at the turn you grabbed a granola bar and maybe some Gatorade. Shall we review those nutritional stats? Suffice it to say you consumed close to 40 grams of sugar at the turn. Gee, you wonder why you crashed on the 14th hole? Protein is the most important nutritional supplement to combat fatigue. Why is that? Everyone knows that protein builds muscle and helps you recover from workouts. That's obvious. I tell my players to have at least 20 grams of protein immediately following a workout. But what most people don't know is that protein plays a major role in your mental game. And this is my area of expertise. So here's how I want you to think about it. I want you to think of protein as the Wi-Fi connection between your brain and your muscles. If the signal to that Wi-Fi is weak, then communication breaks down. Muscle memory, in fact, is not stored in your muscles. Your basal ganglia, cerebellum, and motor cortex are all hard at work retrieving that golf swing from memory and firing your muscles to perform. But protein is the only macronutrient that is not stored in your body. In fact, protein must be continually replenished. It is also the only source of essential amino acids directly responsible for brain neurotransmitter production. These neurotransmitters enable the communication between the brain and muscles. Then your muscles use protein to power your swing over and over and over again during that 4 or 5 hour round of golf. That granola bar and Gatorade powered maybe the first 6 or so holes, but after that it's all protein. Even if you had an egg white omelet for breakfast, by the turn your protein stores are running toward empty, and a hot dog and a beer at the turn was not the right choice, I assure you of that. Have you ever noticed that early in a round of golf, you can generally brush off a few bad shots with good humor, accept the outcomes as part of the game, and move on? Well, guess what? That mental efficiency that's required to fuel protein and acceptance is fueled by protein. That omelet, or even the bacon, egg, and cheese McMuffin from McDonald's that you had for breakfast, or the turkey sandwich you had for lunch before the round, filled up your protein stores. And by filling up those protein stores, you're providing your brain with the essential amino acids that help it fight the emotional stress that naturally occurs during a round of golf. When your blood sugar is properly balanced, mistakes are easier to handle. The ups and downs of the game don't tax your emotions as much. In addition to that, protein raises tyrosine levels in the blood and brain-causing neurons to manufacture norepinephrine and dopamine, which are two important neurotransmitters that promote alertness. This improves your cognitive functioning that translates to you being more focused and more motivated during your round of golf. When your brain stops manufacturing those neurotransmitters, you struggle to stay in the moment. Your pre-shot routine is mechanical and disconnected, and essentially the entire profile of your golf game falls apart. Now, up until now, upping your protein intake on the golf course has been difficult. Why? Powders are messy. Bars melt and get all over your glove and grips. Most protein drinks are chalky, 12 to 16 ounces, leaving you feeling overly full. Plus, they need to stay cold. And yogurt, well, yogurt's just not an option to put in your golf bag. Not to mention that all those choices I just listed tend to be filled with unwanted sugars, fats, and chemicals. What are you going to do? Walk around a golf course with a jar of peanut butter like I saw one of my clients try to do once? Of course not. All this brings me to the primary question that we've been driving towards. What if you could replenish your body with the protein it needs without all these hassles on the golf course? That's what I'm here to talk to you about today. And I'm about to share with you a product that I am so passionate about that I take it every single day. Not only do I take it, I recommend it to all of my PGA Tour and professional clients. The product is called Pocket Protein, and it is the latest innovation in great nutrition. Now listen here. Pocket Protein is fat, carb, sugar, lactose, gluten, and most importantly for golfers, stimulant-free. In other words, Pocket Protein has no fat, no carbs, no sugar, no lactose, no gluten, and no stimulants. I think it's crazy watching these golfers take these stimulant shots before they play golf. Don't they know what all that caffeine does to their brains? It's crazy. Pocket Protein, on the other hand, is 20 grams of great-tasting, heart-healthy, liquid whey protein isolate, which is the absolute most premium form of protein your body can get. It's a 2-ounce foil pack that never needs refrigeration. Besides all those benefits, why is Pocket Protein the perfect protein choice for golfers? Now listen to this. Pocket Protein is a proprietary blend of hydrolyzed collagen, whey protein isolate, and essential amino acids. Now this is very important. The hydrolyzed collagen in Pocket Protein is clinically proven to improve joint strength and flexibility over a 12-week period. This means your hips, knees, elbows, and shoulders are getting the nutrients they need to swing that golf club over 400 times per round of golf. Hydrolyzed collagen is also clinically proven to help retain lean muscle and build bone density. Now, this is especially important for golfers over the age of 50. Now, in the best of times, our brains are often malnourished. We tend to blame quote-unquote low blood sugar when our emotions take over. But the fact is, the root cause of insulin peaks and valleys is lack of protein. The good news is that our bodies are amazing machines, and our brains can quickly respond when we feed them a highly bioavailable protein. Our body efficiently breaks down healthy protein into amino acids it uses to assemble the 50,000 different proteins it needs to function. Now, by keeping our protein levels constant during a round of golf, we not only combat physical fatigue by feeding our muscles, but mental fatigue as well by powering our brains. So if you want to start taking strokes off your game by making your mental game more efficient, and if you want to improve your focus and your energy and start enjoying the rounds of golf more, you got to take Pocket Protein before the round of golf and again at the turn. Now listen to me closely. You can hear the passion in my voice and how powerfully I believe in this product. Most people in America today, in fact, most people around the world, are suffering from high blood sugar because all we're doing is eating starchy carbs. Look around you. Look at the foods that are available. They're all carbohydrates. In fact, for the first time in the history of mankind, more people are dying from obesity than from malnutrition because all these starchy carbs turn to sugars and eventually into fats. People all over the globe are not consuming enough heart-healthy protein. That includes golfers as well. And once I start putting my golfers on a mental and a physical program that includes Pocket Protein, the results have been transformational. So here's the reality. If you do not want to take my word for it, here's what some of my professional golfers are saying about Pocket Protein. Robert Karlsson, who just today, as I'm recording this, is leading the British Open, and who over the course of the last 2 weeks has finished top 10 in 2 European Tour events. Now, this is the same Robert Karlsson who was as high as the number 6 ranked player in the world, takes 2 Pocket Proteins per round. Go to a professional event and watch what Robert does. He takes a Pocket Protein before he plays, and at the turn on the 10th tee, he takes another Pocket Protein. Now, what does he say about it? He says, Pocket Protein keeps me going during long rounds and really helps me stay energized. In fact, Robert told me personally that when he was late to a professional event because his plane landed late, he didn't have a chance to grab a meal. He took 3 or 4 Pocket Proteins during the day, and he said they sustained his energy during an important qualifier in which he qualified for the U.S. Open. So I'm not suggesting Pocket Protein is a meal replacement, but my point is, as your body is digesting protein, it tends to digest protein more slowly, so you feel fuller longer. What other top professionals endorse Pocket Protein? Well, recently I spoke with David Ledbetter, who uses Pocket Protein all the time. David Ledbetter is a legend in the game, and he's always at the cutting edge of performance. How about Camilo, who is widely regarded as the fittest golfer on the planet? Camilo sometimes spends up to 10 hours a week on his bicycle. He's in the gym up to 20 hours a week. He's been measured as low as 3% body fat, and if you've ever watched him work out, he truly is a freak of nature. Now, Camilo also graduated from the University of Florida with a 3.9 GPA, and mind you, English was his second language. How does Camilo fuel his brain and body to sustain such high levels of achievement? Guess what? High levels of high-quality, lean, bioavailable protein, aka Pocket Protein. The questions you're asking yourself are probably twofold. Number 1, how do I get my hands on this stuff? And number 2, how much is it going to cost me? Well, with that in mind, I've got some good news. Pocket Protein's not that expensive. Now, mind you, Pocket Protein is made with the highest quality whey protein isolate available. Go ahead and do your homework on whey protein isolate. And if you understood, like I do, where Pocket Protein sources their protein from, it really truly is the best protein in the world. So here's the good news. A 30-day supply of Pocket Protein, which is 60 single-serving foil packs. It's not going to cost you $1,000 like a weekend clinic. It's not going to cost you $800, $600, or even $200. In fact, it's not even going to cost you the regular price of $179.40, which is the price it would cost you if you went to the website. To reward you for suffering through this entire presentation and listen to me yammer on about how much I love this product, and as a special one-time introductory offer for new customers only, a month's supply of Pocket Protein is only going to cost you $153.29. Not even $154. Now, with that said, Pocket Protein is only able to guarantee this price until the current inventory runs out, which is another reason why stocking up is a really smart option. Now, I'm not saying this as a sales gimmick. Pocket Protein has run out of product twice in the last year, once when I went to order from the website. Fact is, this stuff is moving like hotcakes. So now I'm wondering, you ready to try the Pocket Protein experience? You don't even need to decide to make that financial commitment right now. Try Pocket Protein first and decide later. You see, along with me, Pocket Protein is so confident in the scientific proof behind this amazing proprietary blend of proteins that they are willing to put their money where their mouth is. I'm talking about protecting your financial interests with an unheard of empty pack guarantee. Try Pocket Protein for 5 days. If you don't love this product after 5 days, Pocket Protein will refund your money, no questions asked. Simply put, that means you can order 60 packets of Pocket Protein today, and if at any point over the next 5 days you feel it isn't for you, for any reason whatsoever, or for no reason at all, you can get a prompt, courteous, unconditional refund just by contacting customer support. The phone number is 888-845-9338 or email info@pocketprotein.com. And if you didn't jot that down, don't worry. The contact information will be on your receipt and they're very easy to get a hold of. So, provided Pocket Protein is still in stock, you should see an Add to Cart button appear below this video. If you don't see it, that means Pocket Protein is temporarily sold out, in which case you can contact customer service and they'll be happy to add you to the list. For fastest service, simply click the Add to Cart button to preserve your discounted order of Pocket Protein and proceed to our PCI 256-bit encrypted web store. Don't worry, your order information is obviously 100% safe and secure. I work closely with Pocket Protein, and I know that they use the same online security system as trusted companies like Amazon.com. Now, if you're serious about improving your golf game, you got to start with this simple but important step. Have a Pocket Protein before your round and one at the turn and see what happens. I promise you, golfer after golfer keep reporting back to me the exact same thing. They're not losing their mental focus, they're playing with more energy, and they're not fatiguing on the golf course. It's that simple. So now is the perfect time to overcome low protein levels by clicking the Add to Cart button below. I guarantee you'll end up saving money in the long run because you don't need to buy all that expensive equipment and get all those golf lessons. Once you take this step to improve your mental alacrity and efficiency, you're going to realize your golf swing's probably going to get better. Oh, and by the way, that pitching wedge that you hadn't been hitting well will magically come to life because now you're swinging with more authority and being more decisive in your decisions. And remember, life is better when you're making long putts and making great swings and hitting great shots. Thank you for watching this video, and to the special golfers who join us and get Pocket Protein now, good luck on your journey. To better golf, I'm Dr. Gio Valianti. Thanks for joining me. In addition to these wonderful golfers who use Pocket Protein, guess who else takes Pocket Protein? Legendary NBA coach Doc Rivers. Now, anyone who knows anything about Doc Rivers know that he's a man of the highest character and integrity. He's raised wonderful kids who play at a professional level. He coaches some of the best athletes on the planet. He's all about nutrition and mental efficiency. And Doc Rivers not only takes Pocket Protein, but he also endorses Pocket Protein. So think about it. You've got me, Dr. Gio Valianti, legendary coach David Ledbetter, Camilo and Robert Karlsson, and Doc Rivers all telling you how great this whey protein isolate is, not only for your body, but also for your brain. What more do you need to know? Pocket Protein's the real deal. You got to get on board.